Bookish Blonde. Thanks for joining me today. Today I'm going to make a video about my top reads of 2023. I do have my notes that I will be referring to just because it's about, I think, 17 or 18 books, going back over the course of the year. So I might need I took a little bit of notes. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'd like to say that none of these books are in any particular ranking order. I will tell you my favorite. Well, I put two together as my top favorite. I kind of cheated a little bit, and that will be at the very end. I will show you my very favorite book of 2023. I thought with my channel being newer too, this would be a great way just to kind of see my different thoughts on what I like to read and what kind of genres, interest me, and what some of my favorites were. To give you a little bit of an idea of my reading taste. So to get started, again, no order, ranked order. It's just, these are going to be my 8 top mystery thriller books of the year that I read. I'm going to start with The Housemate by Frida McFadden. This definitely lived up to the hype. I went into it thinking, okay, we'll see. Sometimes when books get overhyped, I end up being disappointed, but not with this one. It was great. I literally read this on a Saturday, like in one day. I could not put it down. Compulsively read it. It had a twist I didn't see coming, which doesn't always happen these days. I do read a lot of mystery thrillers, so a lot of the times I might not get it completely right, but I have a good idea. But yeah, this one had a twist that I did not see coming. Definitely would recommend this to anybody. There is a sequel, The Housemaid Secret, that I will be planning on reading this year in 2024. All right, the second book that I'd like to talk about today is These Silent Woods by Kimmy Cunningham Grant. This one was also caught me by surprise. Loved it, 5 stars. Would recommend this to a lot of people. It's a very suspenseful and reflective story. It takes place in an isolated winter setting in the mountains. It has a lot of themes of family, relationships. It's the perfect winter read, and I did tear up at the end. All right, third book. I'm not going to go into too much detail with all these books because if you haven't read it, I don't want to give anything away. Most of my videos, hopefully all of them, will be spoiler free, so I don't want to ruin anything for you guys. All right, next up, we're going to talk about All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. She has another one also coming out. I just got it from Book of the Month, and I'm so excited to pick it up. This one is another gripping, very intense mystery. This follows Isabel. Yeah, this follows Isabel, a mom. Her son was taken in the middle of the night out of his room, and she's going through maybe a little bit of postpartum. And so basically it's a mystery of what happened to her son and why. Definitely explores the themes of motherhood. Very gripping. This one was great. All right, next up. Find Me by Anne Fraser. I don't hear anybody talking about this book. There is a sequel as well out right now that I own. I'll probably be picking it up this year as well. Thought it was a really cool cover. But yeah, so Find Me is another mystery thriller. I keep repeating myself, but this one is an FBI agent serial killer book. The FBI agent, her dad is a convicted serial killer, and he is saying, I want to explain where my dead bodies are, but only if my daughter helps be on the case. So it kind of takes it off from there. It's a little bit dark, a little bit twisted. Again, serial killers. If you love serial killers, you definitely have to pick this one up. It was so good. It also explores, trauma, resiliency, family dynamics that are pretty screwed up. So it's dark and messed up if you like that. All right, next up for another wonderful, fast-paced read. Everyone should pick this up at some point. Drowning by T.J. Newman. This reads like an action movie. Make sure you have a day cut out where you can just binge read this because you're not going to want to put it down. This is a canceling my plans kind of book. So it's a survival story. But again, there's the family ties in there. A plane goes down in the ocean, and it's a rescue that goes from there. Don't want to give anything away. I have Falling by him as well that will be picked up as soon as possible. All right. All of these were 5 stars, by the way. I didn't really mention that. But yeah, Riley Sager, the only one left. This, I believe, is my favorite Riley Sager. I love this book. I know I sound like I'm repeating myself. I get so excited. But this is kind of a twist take on Lizzie Borden's story. Her whole family was slaughtered and she was never proven that she did it. So this story picks up where this lady is old and needs help and needs a live-in nurse. And so this live-in nurse goes to this isolated mansion that's on a cliff to take care of a woman who allegedly murdered her whole family. Keep you up late at nights. Make sure the lights are on when you read this one. So suspenseful. All right, what else? The next one, Quiet Tenant. I'm probably going to butcher this name. Clem Melon, maybe? So I apologize if I say this name wrong, but this was something that, again, psychological thriller, kept me on the edge of my seat. Never read anything like it before. It's very unique. Serial killer, kidnapper. You follow 3 different women who are in this life of the serial killer. Their different perspectives. I loved all the perspectives evenly. It explores themes of power dynamics, trauma, survival, and I love that I loved all 3 perspectives. Sometimes you kind of want to get back to a different timeline or different perspective when you read a book with multiple POVs, but this one, it didn't matter. I loved them all. Definitely pick that up if you want something dark and twisted. All right, last mystery thriller. Another one, another book of the month, Firstborn by Will Dean. This is such a cool cover too. It's pretty basic, red and blue, but something about it, I really like it. But yeah, so this one is a story about twins. Another, I hadn't really heard about it. It was kind of a random pick off book of the month. It was, I think, an add-on if I remember correctly, and I just grabbed it. And so happy that I did. I love books about twins. I think twins are fascinating, and so anytime there's a thriller with twins involved, I tend to enjoy it. Let's see. Okay, I think that's it. The next 3 are not thriller. They were I didn't read too much historical fiction this year, or less I feel than other years, but these were my top 3 historical fiction. I want to say, oh, it's hard to pick. I think out of this 3, this might be my favorite by a little bit. The Diamond Eye by Kate Quinn. This is Russia, World War II, a famous, based on a true story, based on a true woman. She was a sniper. She started off as a librarian, and then she joined World War II and is the deadliest female sniper as of record, I believe. So good. I flew through this one as well. I've only read 3 by Kate Quinn, but this was my favorite one for sure. I was surprised by it. The Rose Code by Kate Quinn I read the previous year, and that one wasn't for me. A lot of people loved it, but I didn't care for it, so I was really pleasantly surprised that I enjoyed that so much. Mila, Lady Death, she was the main character. Just such an unforgettable character. You also get a timeline where First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt was in, and that timeline was so enjoyable as well. I just loved every page of that book. The next historical fiction that I want to talk about, sorry about my shuffling papers for my notes, but the next one is by Kristen. Is it Harmel or Harmel? Not really sure. Book of Lost Names. This is a backlist one from her. It was World War II again, but Eva, I believe she was a librarian too, or maybe in the more present timeline she was a librarian, but it explores loss and love and identity during war times, and so she created a book. She wanted to be able to document all the children's real names that were being escorted to Switzerland, getting out of war-torn country. So you follow a couple different characters, and definitely there's a love story in here that was great as well. And this one just will always stay close to my heart. Such a good book. Pick it up if you haven't already. All right, last historical fiction. Oh, I love this one too. Take My Hand. Dolan Perkins Valdez. This covers Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, I believe, 1970s, 1973 maybe. Let me check my notes, make sure I'm not giving you the wrong information. But yes, 1973. Read the author's note of this one, you guys. This author's note was so good. Definitely make sure you don't leave that out at the end. This book made me angry. It made me cry. It broke my heart in two. It explores the horrific story of forced sterilization of young, poor, mostly Black children. Horrible. I can't believe this was such an immoral, shameful part of our history. And it's just heartbreaking, but very well done. Very enjoyable. Pick this up. All right. The next 5, I don't know, kind of a mixture of genres. I wasn't really sure what category to put this one in. Most beautiful cover of the year. I love this cover. Wayward by Amelia Hart. This book is witches. It's 3 timelines from like 5 different centuries. You have magical realism in it, which I personally love magical realism. I know it's not for everyone, but I enjoy it for sure. It's dark, it's emotional. This, again, 3 different timelines, 3 different women, and I enjoyed all of the timelines equally, which is always a big sell for me. And the way that these timelines came together and the ending of this book was so well crafted. I was shocked. This is a debut, and I was shocked it was a debut. This is, again, this is great. This is great. If you're in the mood for some witchy, historical fiction, magical realism with a really good, just very well crafted plot and storyline, this one's a good one. All right. What a mess. I'm making a mess with all my books here, guys. All right. Under the Whispering Door by T.J. Klune. Now this one has LGBTQ themes. It has themes of death. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about this. I buddy read this though, which also really made this experience amazing for me because it's definitely a book you want to talk about as you're reading it. T.J. Klune's very popular. It's the first one I read by him. I plan on picking up more because this story made me cry. It was like a warm hug. Just a warm hug. It was so good. I laughed out loud multiple times reading this book. Very thought-provoking, both heartbreaking and heartwarming. It was so good. It's hopeful, reflective. There's themes of grief in here. So spoiler alert warnings if grief and death is, a trigger right now for anyone. Maybe wait on this one. But beautiful story. Very well done. All right. This was almost my top book of the year, but then it got beat out by something which you'll see in a minute, but The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer. This is something I will recommend to any and everybody. Everybody can read this and get something out of it. This book, the cover is gorgeous. It's a game. It's heartwarming. It's basically, there's an author who never released his last book, and he is playing a game, and he kind of like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory a little bit. Certain people are allowed to play this game, and the winner of the game got the book rights, or the final copy of his book that no one has never been published before. This one, really what just stuck with me was just the power of books, the love for books, how that can touch everyone some point in their life or throughout their entire lives. It's adventurous. It's one of my new all-time favorites. It's whimsical. There are themes of adoption in here, family, hope. So I don't, if you don't like this book, I don't know what to tell you. I think anyone could pick this up and get something out of it. So check that one out. All right. Now, These next two are my two favorite romance of the year, and I'm not surprised because both of these are just two of my favorite romance authors. So Happy Place by Emily Henry. This wasn't just a love story. There's found family in here. There was, if you're looking for a friend group that is just close and will stick with you forever, you'll love this one. But basically this story is about a group of friends. They go to this lake house every year. It's their tradition, and a couple, they broke up and they haven't told all their friends they've broken up yet, and so they were going to at this reunion, yearly reunion, and they decided not to for various reasons, and you just follow it from there. So this one also made me laugh, made me cry. Okay. Abby Jimenez, yours truly. This woman could write anything and I would read it. She's just brilliant. She's also really funny. I follow her on Instagram. If you don't, you should check that out. But this book was so real. It had substance. It had anxiety representation in this that was so real and accurate and so well done. It's just such a real love story that with substance. There's back and forth letter writing, love notes to each other, which was great. The extended characters, secondary characters in this book were great as well. So another perfect romance by Abby Jimenez. Pick it up if you haven't already. All right, now drum roll. I'll have to figure out how to add a drum roll right here. So the last two books I'm going to talk about today are my favorite of 2023, and I'm cheating and I'm putting them together, and I know they're hyped, but they lived up for it to me. I did not think I was going to get on the bandwagon and be obsessed like so many people. But you probably guessed it. But if not, Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros and the sequel, Iron Flame. Worth the hype. Romantasy is a thing that I love and I just didn't know. These books, I can't even, I'm going to make a whole video on them. If you're a little unsure about picking these up, at least give it a try. Check it out from your library. Just see if it could be for you, because oh my gosh, I'm just holding my breath till the third one comes out. Like I think we have a while, which sucks. But yes, I also buddy read these as well, and that was a really enjoyable experience. Definitely check them out. The dragons were great in it. Who would have thought I liked a book with dragons? I did not think I would like that, but love the dragons in it. Violet and Xaden are my two favorite characters of the year. There's family and suspense and drama. There's games. There's war. It could go on. There's something for everyone in this book. Like, it is on the edge of your seat. And even though they're kind of chunky, it didn't feel like they couldn't be long enough. I would have just kept reading. Both of these end on a cliffhanger where my jaw just dropped, and I was like, are you kidding me? With the first one, I said, thank God that this one's pre-ordered. I got this when it came out, so I only had to wait 2 months to read the second one. So yeah, definitely worth the hype. Yes, I'm on the Rebecca Yarros train. I even went ahead and picked up these from Target. These are her other romance books, all military based, which will be interesting to see if I could read it. My husband is retired military, so these might be maybe difficult to read in some perspective. I guess we shall see. But after reading the romance in Fourth Wing, definitely made me go pick these up. So yeah, so that is all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate taking the time to hear about all my favorite 2023 reads. And I will see you soon in my very next video. Thank you. Bye.